He was on the verge of death, weak, feverish, unable even to stand. Then, at midnight, someone knocked on his door. He thought it was a threat, but what he didn't know was that this knock was actually a miracle that would change his fate forever. This is a true story, something that happened nearly 70 or 80 years ago. There was a man from a modest family, not poor, not wealthy, just somewhere in the middle. He was well respected in his village, a man whose opinion mattered. His brothers, his relatives, his neighbors, everyone trusted his judgment. One day he fell seriously ill. A high fever, crippling exhaustion, and a deep weakness left him completely bedridden. His two brothers, his children, and even his grandchildren would gather around his bed. Back then, there were no doctors, only traditional remedies, so they kept his surroundings quiet and calm, hoping he would recover. During those cold winter nights, it was tradition for people to have coffee after sunset. Those who were strong enough would have a small cup before heading to sleep early, preparing for dawn prayers and the day's work ahead. That evening, after their night prayer, his visitors said their goodbyes. God willing, they told him, we'll drink the dawn coffee with you tomorrow, just like always. He remained in his bed, prayed the night prayer right where he lay, turned off the oil lamp, and tried to find some sleep. The fever and exhaustion were overwhelming, and he finally began to drift off. Then suddenly a knock on the door. For a sick person, any sudden noise can be startling, and this knock felt alarming. His family was asleep in another part of the house. They couldn't hear it. He tried to ignore the first knock, but then came a second, this time louder, more urgent. He thought to himself, if he knocks a third time, he's determined, and I'll have to get up. The third knock came. With immense difficulty, he forced himself out of bed, leaning heavily on the walls for support as he made his way to the door. He opened it and found a man standing there, his face covered with a cloth. The man looked at him and immediately said, "Thank God it's you, Abu Muhammad." He uncovered his face and the sick man recognized him. "What's wrong?" the sick man asked. "This is no time for coffee." The visitor's voice choked with emotion. "By God, Abu Muhammad, my daughters have had nothing to eat for 3 nights. It was hunger that brought me here." The sick man's heart broke. Despite his weakness, he whispered, "Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi rajiun." To God we belong and to him we return. He could barely move, but he pointed toward the storage room, an old locked pantry where they kept food safe from animals and children. "Take the key," he said. "Open the storehouse. Take 3 containers, one with rice, one with dates, and one with ghee. Go feed your daughters. God will provide." The man rushed, took what he needed, and turned to leave. The homeowner watched him go, still leaning against the door for support. Then he gathered what little food remained in a small basket and handed it to him. "Take this too," he said, "and may God open doors for you." He slowly made his way back to his bed, and for the first time since he had fallen ill, he fell into a deep, peaceful, and refreshing sleep. At dawn, as he was preparing for prayer, someone knocked again. This time it was a gentle knock. He expected it might be another person in need, but when he opened the door, he found his brother, his sons, and with them, surprisingly, a female relative. She entered respectfully, sat down, and said, "Abu Muhammad, I will not drink this cup of coffee until I tell you what I came for. I saw a dream last night, and I'm here to ask you about it." He reassured her and told her to speak. She began, "Before I slept, I wasn't even thinking of you, but in my dream I saw 2 men standing, and you were at a distance. One of them was pushing the other, saying, 'This one is pushing away the disaster. He's pushing away the disaster.' They kept repeating it while you just watched them." When she finished her story, the man burst into tears. He said, "What you saw, it happened. A man came to me last night with a desperate need, and I helped him. Perhaps God made that act a reason to lift a great misfortune from me." He didn't explain any further, but his family understood what had happened, and from that day forward, the man's health returned. the fever broke, his strength came back, and he was healed. The lesson from this story is powerful. Giving to others isn't measured by how much you give, but by the sincerity inside your heart. A single sincere act of charity can be worth more than 100,000 coins. God doesn't reward the amount. He rewards the intention. And perhaps this man's sincere charity was the very reason God lifted the illness from him and granted him healing, a lesson still remembered almost 80 years later. Let's break down the three powerful morals from this incredible story. First, sincere charity protects you from harm. The sick man gave not from his abundance, but from a place of pure sincerity. His intention was simply to help someone in desperate need. That sincerity became the reason God lifted a great hardship from him. It's never about the size of the gift, but the purity of the heart behind it. Second, hidden struggles exist everywhere, so help others quietly. The visitor was a respected man in the community, yet hunger forced him to knock on a door in the middle of the night, hiding his face in shame. So many people around us are hiding their pain. One quiet act of kindness, unseen by the world, can literally save a family from suffering. You never know who you might be helping. And third, God rewards kindness in the most unexpected ways. The man was sick, weak, and barely able to stand, but God rewarded his generosity with immediate comfort, a peaceful sleep, and complete healing. His good deed came back to him at the very moment he needed it most. It's a reminder that when you give for God's sake, He takes care of you in ways you can't even imagine. May God make us all among those who push away calamity with sincere charity. Thanks for watching. If this story touched you, please like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring content. See you in the next video.